Hi, I'm Benjamin from the Eclipse Koneki project, and I want to give you a quick tutorial to help you set up Lua development tools to debug Corona applications. So the first step will be to create a new Lua project, of course. So I basically will just use the new Lua project wizard, and instead of creating a new empty project, I will reuse one of the samples provided by Corona. So I browse my system into this sample code folder of Corona, and I will use the bridge sample application. Let's give a name to the project. Bridge sounds good. And let's click finish. Now I have the project created in my workspace, and I can start editing the main.lua file, for example, with the syntax highlighter, the outline to navigate the code. I also have access to code snippets if I want to create a for loop, for example, and iterate on a list or something. I can use LDT to do that. But what I want to show you today is how to set up the debugger. So what I need to do now is to download a couple files on the Eclipse Koneki website that will provide the debugger functionalities. So I already have these two files. You will find the links in the video description. You copy these two files in your project, and these files, they bring a new debugger module that I will require here, and this module returns a function which I will call with the default parameter, and this will set up the debugger for me. Next step is to create what is called a launch configuration in Eclipse, so as the Lua development tools listen to a connection from this application to it and start debugging. So I go in the debug configuration section, and I create a new remote Lua application that I will call bridge, and I will just change the timeout here so as I can have time to actually launch the Corona simulator. And let's hit debug. And I'm done on the IDE side, and now next step will be to launch the Corona debugger and not the simulator. This is important because I want to have access to more functionality than just the simulator. And let's run the application. Fortunately, I have this in my recently launched application. This is Bridge. I just launch it, and nothing happens because the tricky thing is that the debugger provided by Corona basically stops on the first line of the program. So I need to unpause the program, and now the application is running. So what do I want to debug? I want to debug what happens when I click on a rock and the rock disappears. So I'm just gonna go in the source code and find the removebody function, which seems to be called when a touch listener, there's a touch listener used to remove rocks. So that sounds good. I put the breakpoint, and then I go back to the simulator. I hit a rock, and okay, this is what I wanted to show you. The IDE just hit the breakpoint and proposed me to switch to the debug perspective, which I will do. And now I am on my breakpoint, and I have access to the variables, the state basically of my Lua VM, with all the global variables, and more especially the local variables, such as here the event that I can, for which I can have access to all the properties, the location, etc., etc. I can step into the source code. I can resume the source code, and if I show you what happens if I click another rock, I will show you that you also can cheat or actually change the values of some of the variables. For example, here the event, let's say it's not in a begin phase, it's in a whatever phase with a typo, and if I step, you can see that I will not go inside the if. So I successfully managed to change the actual variable. So this is very handy for some debugging purpose. And again, what I want to show you here is that I can also have access to an interactive console where I can manipulate the Lua VM, the state of the VM, or I can even output some stuff such as debug, which will be printed on the console. I can even print the event, even though I'm pretty sure it will be ugly since it's a table, but I can do that. So this is basically the LDT debugger. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any question, please ask them either on the Koneki forum or in the comments on the video. And see you later for another tutorial. Cheers!